All right, here we go. So, we got some prank kids play here, and in this match, we pretty much have access to everything we need to pretty much set up a couple bosses that pretty hard for people to deal with. We already have our adventure line through Foolish Burial and also Wandering Griffin Rider. We started with it so we don't have to search for it, so it can't get ashed. So we can start off, use Foolish Burial to basically put water enchanters in the graveyard, which is what I'm going to do. And then we also have access to two prank kids through the use of prank kids place as well as dropsies. So I send water enchantress activated to get rid of Vera's mirror. This is going to put my token onto the field. And then this puts Faithful Adventure, searches Faithful Adventure. I'm just going to grab the other water enchantress, put it in my graveyard for next turn. Also, I'm going to go ahead and activate Frankie's place right here. Put out my Omni Gate so then that way they can't stop any of my plays, or at least I have a negate for any of my plays. I've already tested to see if they have Ash, and they didn't respond with Ash, so I can just go ahead and make plays right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab Draco back and use Draco back, the search for Draco back to chain block that first search of the first prank kids to summon a monster onto the field. They didn't ash or anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and make plays. And if they imperm me right here, then I can just use Wandering Griffin Rider to stop that. This is really the only choke point for this prank kids deck. It's not the only choke point, but it's the main choke point that people will want to try to stop is right here. So then I'm going to make Rocket Ride, and of course the effect is going to make me banish one of these two cards for Roxy's. I want to keep Maxi because this card's really powerful. So I'm just going to banish Draco back. Draco back isn't that big of a deal for me. I might actually run two Draco backs in case I ever have to do this play. I can banish this, and basically, I mean, because it happens quite often, um, to where I end up banishing Draco back. So then right here, I'm just going to go into Bow Wow Bark, then link these two together for Rip Run Roaster. Then once I do that, I'm just going to activate Rocket Ride, bring back the two that I just used to link to make Rip Run Roaster. And since I already have Fansies, I'm going to search Pranks and then Pandemonium, and then I'm going to actually use Pranks to send back the Fansies that's in my graveyard, so then that way I have a Fansies in my deck that I can summon from. So now we're just going to activate Bow Wow Bark, and then we're also going to chain Maxi onto that. So if my opponent, basically it's pick their poison if they have a Call by the Grave, and if they have two, then I can Wonder and Griffin Rider one of them. Um, so it's basically pick their poison. Do you want to get Maxi or do you want to get Bow Wow Barked? Um, so it's pick their poison at that point. I have the three cards that I need to make Battle Butler, and then I also have Pandemonium on the field. Now, this card, I don't want this card to stay on the field because it'll protect their Destiny Hero monsters from like card effects. So I'm just going to go ahead and destroy it, attributing Meow Meow move for cost. And then I'm just going to negate this card right here. And then he go ahead and start making plays. And right here, I want to go ahead and make Battle Butler. Now, it took me a while to actually make Pandemonium. That way, just in case they start doing like a bunch of summons, and I got Nibiru, like I drew into Nibiru from them doing special summons. He normal summoned, so he used that up, which is why I went ahead and activated Pandemonium. But if he had done a bunch of special summons first, I would have just drawn a bunch of cards, and if I drew into Nibiru, I can Nibiru his field, especially if he started laying back row and I got rid of Rip Roaring Roaster. I can Nibiru his field, which is why I waited on Pandemonium. But since he normal summoned, um, I'm going to go ahead and go into Battle Butler right here. And I know that I can pretty much like clog a bunch of his plays, make it really difficult for him. So I draw these two cards. I put Plan in the graveyard right here so I don't take a whole lot of damage when he finally goes in for an attack. And then he summons this monster right here. And then I'm just going to ash this, the search that he was trying to do in the graveyard. And then I'm just going to pop this card that's on the field. Then pop his back row. And then he's going to use Miracle Fusion. And then this card actually halves my monster's attacks. So when it's summoned, it halves my attacks. So I thought he wasn't going to be able to beat over Adventure Token, but he ends up making this monster right here, which is completely fine by me. But since I sent Prank Kid's Plan to the graveyard, which is really big for this deck, I do this a lot. I don't see any other players do this. They actually always send the field spell for some reason. I send Prank Kid's Plan to the graveyard for this reason right here. So all of my cards are in the graveyard, right? All of my Prank Kids cards are in the graveyard pretty much. But the benefit to this is I can tribute that card, shuffle all of my Prank Kids back into the deck all over again. So then that way on the next turn, do my Prank Kids plays all over again. He only has one monster and he's attacking into the card that I wanted him to attack into, which is why I put Faithful Adventure in attack position. Now I can make an Omni Negate with Totally Awesome right here, which is the first thing that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to activate the Wandering Griffin that I set up in my graveyard to bring that Faithful Adventure token back onto the field. Going to Roxy's. Now I could just search Wandering Griffin Rider, and then I could also put Wandering Griffin Rider onto the field, but I'm just going to wait and do that towards the end. And then I'm just making plays right here. Summon a Bow Wow Bark right here. This is simply just to get it into the graveyard. And I actually have Thunder Dragon Fusion right here. And look, my Omni Negate basically shuts down his plays. And I'm going to stop him from being able to make searches. So I'm just going to make Thunder Dragon Colossus right here. Going to Rip Roaring Roaster. And then Thunder Dragon Fusion right here. This is going to make Battle Butler. And I'm not done yet. Trust me, I'm not done. Now I'm going to make Rocket Ride. Use the effect of Rocket Ride to bring out the two monsters back. I already have Pranks, so I don't need that one. So this time I can search for one Prank Kids monster. So I get Fansies and then also Pandemonium. So check this out. So let's say something does happen. Somehow he's able to clear my board. Well, Rip Roaring Roaster can send Battle Butler back to the banish pile over here. Or I mean back to the extra deck. And then Battle Butler's effect can actually resummon out Prank Kids cards. So when I flip Pandemonium again, I can make another Battle Butler if he destroys my Battle Butler somehow with this one card in his hand. But I mean, I know that I can just attack over this, but this just shows the power of this deck, how strong this deck is. Basically, in 2 turns, I've summoned out both my boss monsters. I've also summoned out Thunder Dragon Colossus. I've set up my adventure engine, and I'm just going to search right here for Wandering Water Enchantress right here. Now, I could have actually searched for the Griffin Rider, but I basically was able to pretty much do everything, and I was able to recycle pretty much all of my cards. I recycled Totally Awesome, so I could also do that play again. But I pretty much brought out everything. Thunder Dragon Colossus, Battle Butler, Rip Roaring Roaster, set up basically another play again for the next turn with Bow Wow Bark all over again. Like, this is the best way to play Prank Kids. It's a pretty powerful way to play Prank Kids. But yeah, and shout out to Alteri. I would have scooped. He stayed. So shout out to Alteri. GG's, buddy.